Let me start with you, Charlie Sykes. Let me show you Bob Corker on Trump's base as a cult.
We're in a strange place. I mean, it's almost, it's becoming a cultish thing, isn't it? It's not a good place for any party to end up with a cult-like situation as it relates to a president that happens to be purportedly of the same party.
We chose his words very carefully, but I got cult loud and clear. It's a pretty good way to put it, isn't it?
Yeah, but, if only he'd been warned about all of this. Bob Corker, I'm glad he's speaking out, but, it would have been nice if he would have spoken out earlier and more consistently instead of flip-flopping back and forth. But here we're at a moment where every week or so, the Trumpist, the president, takes somebody out and hangs them from a lamppost and says, okay, who wants to be the next critic? What other Republican wants to break with MAGA? I mean, we got Martha Roby forced into a runoff. You've ended Mark Sanford's political career. Jeff Flake is on the way out the door. So a lot of Republicans are looking around. They're going, okay, I'm not going to criticize the president. I mean, right now, think about what it means to be a president, what it means to be a Republican in a primary. You can be a birther. You can be associated with alt-right bigots and survive and win the primary. But if you criticize Donald Trump, that's political suicide. And that is the dynamic right now in the Republican Party.
I understand that to be the electoral dynamic, Charlie Sykes, but where are their souls?
Well, in deep storage, at least for a while. But right now, we're in an election year. And this is a party that's shown itself to be both tribal and cultish, but also transactional. And the transactionalism is basically, look, as long as we keep our mouths shut or we laud the president, kiss up to the president, we get what we want. The problem is the price tag keeps going up, and they keep having to ask themselves, okay, was that worth it? Obviously, Bob Corker reached the breaking point, but again, he's on the way out the door. He's not running for re-election.
Eugene, I want to play you a little more Corker talking about the primaries, the dynamic that Charlie raises. Let's watch.
I heard Senator from Texas, the senior senator from Texas, saying the other day, well, gosh, we might upset the president. We might upset the president of the United States before the midterms. But no, gosh, we might poke the bear, is the language I've been hearing in the hallways. We might poke the bear. The president might get upset with us as United States senators if we vote on the Corker Amendment. So we're going to do everything we can to block it.
Eugene, that makes me want to just poke the bear. What's wrong with them? Why wasn't anyone fired up by that? I am. I'm ready to go poke him. What do you think?
Well, you hear these brave words sometimes from Corker. You hear them from Jeff Flake. Gee, if only they were in a position to actually do something, to actually, take votes and introduce legislation and rally support for it and actually show people by action what Donald Trump really is. So I would love to see more action and hear fewer words, especially from all the Republicans who will say off the record in private what you say, what Charlie says in basically the same language, and then who in public are just as slavishly devoted to the cult leader as everybody else. Just one thing about Charlie's remarks. Keep in mind that Mark Sanford's political career has been ended, at least twice before. I'm not utterly convinced that in my home state of South Carolina, where all sorts of weird political things happen, Mark Sanford doesn't have yet another comeback in him. But,
maybe he could replace Pruitt if he ever goes. Let me ask you about this dynamic. We all talk to Republicans who privately say, hideous things about Donald Trump. They call him stupid. They call him unprepared. They call him unethical. They don't have nice things to say about Jared and Ivanka being in the West Wing. They call it dysfunctional. They are happy that he's watching TV and tweeting and not messing up any of the minimal amount of policy work. We've all heard from these people, but they don't show their faces. The people who marched in Charlottesville more bravely showed their faces in the light of day than Republican critics of this president.
Right, and like we've laid it out in 5 different ways, but it all comes down to electoral math. They're all scared of him. If you compare, he is, besides George W. Bush after 9/11, the second most popular Republican
Right, let's put that up.
this time in his presidency in modern political history.
Right, there it is.
That is a stark fact. And then you take someone like Mitch McConnell, he's around 23-25% with Republicans. So if you're Mitch McConnell, you know that every time, or whoever, pick your Republican member of Congress who's deeply unpopular in the 20%, every time I stick my head up and shout about Trump, I am sacrificing who knows how many thousand votes. And that's how they think. That's what they're thinking about.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.